So guys, welcome back to another video.
What's up?
He's been doing a lot recently, and he's going to be in more, so get used to it right now.
Get used to its ugly face.
That's alright. As you can see by the title, the video is things Americans do that confuse the rest of the world. I don't know if this was suggested or if it's just one of those videos that I thought would be cool for you to see, to learn random things.
I mean, a lot of things confuse me anyway, so...
General maths does.
Yeah, just life itself.
So this is bound to confuse you. I'm maybe not actually confused, but it's just... I think that's just for the title. It's just going to be like sort of things that they do.
Just stuff that they do that we don't.
Yeah. Obviously, I've seen this video before, but I'm showing him the ways and like sort of showing him different videos that I sort of learn and watch at the start.
You're right.
Fuck me, my throat's still fucked, man. But yeah, we'll just watch this. Hopefully, you're going to enjoy. Suggest more stuff you want him to see in future. Links are in the description to my Instagram, my Twitter, same for my Patreon for those who want to see extra reactions.
That's really interesting.
I know it is, isn't it? Videos that get blocked on YouTube, go to the Patreon.
I
know. Thanks for the little bit of advertising there. But yeah, let's just jump into this and yeah, learn about America, man.
Let's do
The
it.
United States of America is the land of the free, the home of the brave, and
I don't really want to be here, but here's a video anyway.
also the home to a lot of weird stuff that most other countries don't do. This former British colony has truly grown up to be its own quirky person. The following 10 things tend to confuse non-Americans, and you can find non-natives of the US of A discussing them all across the internet.
Amazing!
Number 10. Tipping. America definitely isn't the only country in the world where tipping is a common practice.
Oh yeah.
In fact, if you're
that's basically most of their wages, isn't it?
Yeah. Do you remember learning that from the last video?
Yeah.
curious about what jobs get tipped in what countries, there's a website called whototip.net that breaks down the tipping customs of the world.
Which,
but
to be
America
fair, though,
is
people
certainly
make a
the country.
fortune from tipping.
Yeah.
Yeah,
but in places like Japan, did I tell you?
No.
It's like seen as disrespectful.
Is it? Yeah, but places like Asia, like, their respect things are different. Like,
The values and stuff.
like eating loud,
Yeah.
that's like polite.
Is it?
Yeah.
You say that, is it actually true?
No, honestly, I've seen it on videos.
Really?
Yeah, eating loud, like slurping your food and stuff like that. It might be China,
Yeah.
but like eating loud is a way of showing like you're
This
enjoying
is
your
good.
food.
I know there's I think it's in Mexico where leaving food on your plate, eating all your food is seen as unpolite because it's sort of like the food not wasn't enough. Something like the fact that they want you to be full.
Yeah.
And if you've ate it all.
Then you're not.
I think that's in
Whatever.
Mexico. It might be a bit twisted, but it's something like that.
Yeah.
It's interesting.
Well, I
how it
would be
works.
good there then.
Fuck, man, everyone's gonna hate you, mate.
Country where tipping is the most prevalent. In most countries and cultures around the world, tipping is simply an optional charge should you feel your server deserves to be rewarded for their efforts. However, in America, you should always give a tip of around 10 to 20%, especially at restaurants. Tipping is a big part of American culture, which seems odd to outsiders. People may dislike tipping, but it's probably here to stay. In
I always
America,
tip
the
wherever I go
unspoken
anyway.
system
Mario's
is
got
that
me
food
into it.
prices in restaurants
Yeah, I
are
think it's
lower than they
polite.
should be
Yes.
because tips allow.
You feel good about yourself.
Well,
yeah.
especially if you've had good service and good food, then it's just polite.
Yeah, exactly. And you're probably helping someone out.
Exactly.
Or a group of people.
Allow the restaurant
Or
to
you're
pay
helping
their
some
wait
businessman
staff
that's
less.
greedy.
Take it all
Yeah.
They can then charge you less for food. At least that's what you can try telling your friend the next time he doesn't want to contribute to the tip at a restaurant because he recently saw Reservoir Dogs. While a lot of people argue that tipping is a good thing because it increases the quality of service you receive, this isn't actually true. Cornell University published a study that revealed the real reason people tip, more or less, is basically random. And customers who receive great service tip on average just 1% more than those who don't. Lots of people around the world look at America and ask, why not pay service workers a normal amount of money and
Fair
just
point
make
as
the
well.
food more expensive?
That does baffle me.
What?
I think that's more when the companies say that they rely on the people getting paid through tips.
Yeah.
They don't pay them enough and then they can get tips.
Yeah.
That's a good thing about getting tipped here. You sort of don't get tipped as much, but you'll get tipped as well as
Yeah.
getting your wage. It might be quite scary. Like imagine you don't get tipped as much.
Well, it's like people that do like cooling jobs, isn't it? Like when they're trying to sell things, if you don't sell anything,
Yeah.
you don't make any money.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
it's
Number
like, equally can be
9.
different.
Have few
Yeah.
vacation days. Americans don't go on vacation as much as the rest of the world does. On average, we're given only 12 vacation days by our work, as
How much
opposed
do you get? Do you get?
I can get what I want, self-employed, so I can just go off,
Not-
but
you
I don't get paid for it.
To Europeans who get between 25 and 30,
people that know
perhaps
people in America that only allowed like 3 days holiday.
You know people.
Well, I know people that know people.
Oh fuck me! I mean, I've seen people in my videos saying they don't have any holiday.
Yeah, it's crazy.
They have to work.
Yeah.
It's fucking sad.
more interesting is the fact that Americans on average only use 10 of their 12 given vacation days, whereas Europeans tend to use all of theirs.
Give me
I
as
guess
much holiday as I
Americans
can
just can't
get.
bring themselves to leave the office while there's still work to be done. And while it may suggest Europeans are lazy, according to a mounting body of research,
What? No.
it's actually counterproductive not to take a vacation, as breaks help us rejuvenate, increasing our productivity over time. Not only that, when us Americans do go on vacation, we also travel less internationally than citizens of most other countries. But that may be related
you've
to our
got
limited
everything in
number of
America,
vacations.
and yeah, like,
That's like what people say. They've literally got all the different regions. Like,
Yeah,
say in Europe, we've got less here than they've got in America.
well, you got all the national parks,
Yeah.
and you got the beaches. You've got like the mountains, and you got
Got
everything.
Alaska, which
Exactly.
is so far away. You got Hawaii.
Yeah.
You don't need a
Yeah.
passport to go there because it's a state.
Mad.
All this shit there, and obviously you got like the deserts, like
Yeah.
Las Vegas and
I
stuff.
was gonna say, and then if you want to go to cool city breaks, you've got all of it.
Yeah.
Like LA,
Yeah. New York,
New York. What's the other one?
Miami,
Nah, the one where Levi's is.
San Francisco.
San Francisco.
Oh, with the Golden Gate Bridge.
Yeah.
Yeah. Just all, and then obviously there's like Texas. On like, do you know New Orleans? Have you heard of New
Yeah.
Orleans? That's like a French, very sort of strong French.
Oh really?
Sort of, what's the word? What's the fucking word? Culturally, a lot of
Mhm.
French people live there and shit.
Oh right.
So it's like you're in different countries in each
Yeah.
different state.
Vacation days.
It's so cool.
12 days just doesn't allow for an international trip as well as 30 does, as the time and cost of travel to international destinations is so great. According to the Department of Commerce, American international travelers spent 42% of the cost of their entire trip simply on the travel to and from their destination. It's then not too surprising that most Americans don't even have a passport. Only 42% of U.S.
Can't blame
citizens
them, though.
own a passport,
Passports are just a
whereas
nightmare to try and do.
76% of English citizens do. That means at least 58% of Americans haven't even left the U.S., as you need a passport to travel. To the rest of the world, this is an odd characteristic of such a prosperous nation. While it's partly due to limited vacation days,
Plus-
it may also
Really, like in America, if you wanted to go to Europe, it's so far away. Like in Europe, we're lucky because
But it
everything's
isn't
so.
just going to Europe, it's just going anywhere.
Yeah, but I mean, like, we're lucky because you can travel 4 hours and we can be.
Scotland.
It takes like 40 minutes to fly there.
Oh, fly!
Yeah.
I thought you said like travel.
No,
Oh,
but
okay.
like if you're gonna fly on holiday or something.
Really? Where's 4 hours away, mate?
Just like you can go.
Scotland?
Oh,
Anyway.
just anywhere, mate. Just far away.
Moscow.
You go like 4 hours away.
Nah, but it is true, like, because obviously going to a different state is like us going to a different country. Here.
Yeah, like we can go to like Turkey,
Yeah.
which is the other side of Europe.
And also Asia,
Yeah.
to be fair.
Mhm.
Just so you know. But like places like Texas is like the size of France times 2 or something.
Mhm.
Like their states are bigger than our country, so it is like different countries and shit.
be because Americans lack the desire to travel as much as the rest of
And also going somewhere like Hawaii and Alaska, they're not connected to the mainland.
No.
So it is sort of like you are going to another country even though it is the same country.
the world. Number 8. Food
That's
preferences.
so interesting.
When you go to a
mate.
restaurant in America, you're probably going to get a lot
Oh.
of food. At least a lot more than most other nations would serve. It's a popular topic of discussion amongst non-Americans online. Many European tourists admit they would frequently just
Get in my
order one
belly.
item off the menu and share it with another person. America does it big. And for non-Americans, the size options at fast food restaurants perfectly illustrate this. Take a look at this image by a Japanese citizen in
You must have seen
2000.
like sort of comparisons on cup sizes and like McDonald's and shit, right?
11, comparing the sizes of McDonald's drinks in America versus Japan. The medium Japanese cup is the exact same size as the small American cup, and the American medium cup is larger than the Japanese large.
Crazy.
But
man.
McDonald's is on the small size. Here are the small sizes at a number of vendors, showing just how much larger a small cup is in America. While many
We get like 1 litre bottles, don't we? Like the Cokes and stuff. They're like £1.
Yeah.
And that's like you're getting a 1 litre. You're getting like 700 millilitres just for yourself. That's insane. I don't think many people would pick that.
Don't get me wrong though, I have drank a big bottle of
Had
Coke
your
by
fair
myself.
share.
Yeah.
Around the world like to joke about how it proves Americans are fat. The truth is, a lot of them take away their leftovers in carry-out boxes to eat throughout the week. Still, American food is vastly different to food found in the rest of the world. For one, non-Americans are, on the whole, less obsessive about peanut butter. Brian Sternthal, a professor of marketing at Northwestern University's
got into
Kellogg
peanut
School of
butter.
Management, has said that in many parts
But
of the
then peanut
world,
chicken
peanut butter is regarded as
very good.
unpalatable American curiosity. For example, according to Statista, Americans eat a kilogram of it per year, compared to 100 grams eaten per person
the
per
European
year in
fucking
Europe.
side.
That's 10 times the
I love
amount
peanut butter
Europeans
so
eat.
much.
Other American food anomalies that have confused Europeans include comparatively small fruit and vegetable aisles full of fruits and vegetables that will cost you a lot more than they would across the Atlantic, as well as an overabundance of highly processed sweet and salty foods, and so-called cheese that can be sprayed out of
I
a
get
can.
sprayed cheese before.
Number
never.
7. College sports.
I just can't
In
imagine
America,
it being
college-
great.
No. Why would you have it when you eat some normal cheese?
Yeah, just have normal cheese, any kind of cheese, just not square.
So this is going into college football, which is sort of what I spoke about in the previous video.
Sprayed out of a can.
It's a
Number
big
7.
cultural thing. Yeah.
College sports. In America, college sports are almost as popular as professional sports. In some areas, they're actually more popular. People will have barbecues outside of stadiums for hours before the games start, paint their faces, and hate on rival academic institutions. College athletics are taken just as seriously by the fans, who don't care that the players aren't as good as the pros
Could you
and aren't
imagine
even
like
getting
when we're at school playing our football matches and just
like,
having crowds?
Hundreds of people,
Ooh,
thousands of people watching you.
Just be bonkers.
But they are obviously at a higher level, but it's
Oh,
the
yeah,
same,
yeah,
it's like
yeah.
a comparable sort of thing. Like these would probably be people that play for like, well, in the schools, because they do it throughout the whole school year.
Mhm.
So like in the like for say you're like a sophomore in basketball, which is like really young. I don't know how young. Like, I don't actually know, like 11 or 12. You'll still have lots of people watching you.
Really?
It's insane.
Hey, this may be baffling to our neighbors, but there is an explanation for this American pastime of watching what are literally amateur games. Unlike most fun-sized European countries, America is massive. There are lots of places that just aren't anywhere near a major city where you could go and see a professional team play.
You're right, then.
Colleges are the next
Man's
best.
got facts.
If you've not seen the previous video, maybe it's going to be after this. We watched an American football related video, and you said something like,
Basically, because all the big teams are so far away from each other,
yeah,
the colleges
that was
are
a good,
the local
that was
colleges.
a good guess made actually.
Best thing,
I'm
and there's
not
bound to
myself.
be one of them nearby at least. College football and basketball also actually predate those sports' professional leagues, so college athletics culture has been around forever. Number 6. Prescription drug commercials. Non-Americans who travel to the U.S. are often surprised to find that there are advertisements for prescription drugs on regular television. You can't go and buy them from stores, so the commercials urge viewers to ask their doctor about them. In 2016, Kantar Media, a firm that tracks multimedia advertising, reported that nearly 800,000 prescription drug advertisements were aired on television, which was a 65% increase from just 4 years prior. Basically, the reason these commercials don't exist in other countries is because they aren't legal in other countries. In fact, the only other country where these kinds of commercials exist is New Zealand.
Holy shit.
The U.S. pharmaceutical industry is huge. It generated 425.
Money. Oh my days, money, bro! Like for prescriptions, I think insurance covers it, but if you don't have insurance, or in other cases, to pay for like an inhaler, it's like $90,
Really?
something like that. And that's just an example of the shit.
That's
Like you have to. Do you know about ambulances?
ambulances?
Like
Well,
how you have to pay after you get an ambulance
well, I just know the healthcare sort of whole thing
is very expensive.
is expensive. Yeah.
It makes me feel blessed because we still pay for it, but it's sort of different.
Yeah,
what
we
do.
pay for it without really knowing.
Yeah, exactly.
Like it's not in big chunks.
Yeah, but also I don't think our healthcare is that good. In some ways, it is like if you're like getting treatment for like cancer and stuff, it's very good.
Yeah.
But I mean, if you go to the doctors to try and diagnose something,
Oh yeah, trying to, you have to get on to them over and
lie,
over
you
again.
make it sound worse than it
Yeah.
is. I don't know if it's the same. Maybe it is the same everywhere.
It's
but
just because everyone's under stress and I don't know.
They just assume, oh, you're fine. Or
There's
whatever.
too many people, not enough doctors, basically.
Yeah, it must be a very fucking
billion in 2015. If they're allowed to advertise, of course they're going to. And it works. Direct-to-consumer advertised drugs tend to sell better than drugs that aren't. But they're controversial, and it seems the reason America allows them comes down to our free speech protections under the First Amendment. Governments in most countries around the world think they're dangerous, and the research suggests they're not wrong. Even the American Medical Association has called for a ban on them, as these advertisements have been proven by studies to broaden the scope of who gets treated with prescription drugs. They also lead to patients being influenced to take newer, less effective drugs that often cost more. For example, Vioxx, which was later withdrawn as it caused life-threatening side effects such as increasing the risk of heart attack and strokes. Number 5. Soccer. America, of
Jesus.
course, isn't the only country that
No,
plays.
I've actually learned that a lot of people. There's a big. Not everyone likes it, but the people who like there's a big group of people that do like really love it.
Yeah.
The MLS is like the 4th or 3rd most attended to league in the world.
Really?
Like it's very fucking high. So I guess it's because the population is so high and there's so many other sports. The view and my view initially was like, oh, they fucking hate it.
Yeah.
There's a lot of people that really do like it. I don't know if he's gonna mention that, but I'm gonna counteract it if he does say, oh, it's shit, no one likes it and all that kind of stuff.
Then they're lying.
Yeah.
Soccer. But we are one of the only countries that calls the game you play with your feet soccer, and the one you play with your hands football. We stand with countries like Australia, Korea, South Africa, and Italy in not calling the sport football.
But then, I
Understandably,
see the thing, it's like, they call it soccer, but then at the end of their names it's FC.
Who? Oh, for Italian team?
No, in America.
Oh, is it?
Yeah.
Or maybe the actual. What's the league's Major League Soccer? as
Soccer,
well?
but I'm pretty sure most of the teams have FC after.
FC Dallas.
Yeah.
Oh,
Yeah, I mean, I think you're actually right. Well, that's just one I can think of, but.
So I'm just gonna fuck the system here. It's like you're lying. You know it's football.
confuses most of the world.
Have it!
So, what is the origin of this counterintuitive name? Soccer is an abbreviation of association, which came from Association
Not
Football,
having it.
the official name for the game. The suffix was added as a common jocular
It's
slang
our
term
fault.
of the time.
And then we hate
The
it
reason
now.
the name is
This is
stuck
weird.
is because American football developed in the mid-19th century, evolving from the British game of rugby. Back then, rugby was loosely known as football, but it was often called rugby to make the distinction. All these sports were about moving the ball forward, but as the game developed across the pond, Americans developed different rules about how you were allowed to do it and what you could wear. The most popular rule set in England ended up being the one where you can only use your feet. And the most popular rule set in America ended up being the one where you get to smash into each other. Hence why the two totally different sports have the same names in the two countries. Number 4. Not including sales tax. Wherever there's a
Yeah, but
discussion of American
Yeah, I
sales
think that
tax
was
on the
one of the
internet,
biggest numbers
you can
as
find
well.
non-Americans telling their tales of being shocked at the final price because they didn't realize that sales tax wasn't included. In most countries, the price tag on an item includes the part you have to pay to the government, so they can build roads and other things. But not here in the US. This is because sales tax in
And
America
it varies from state to state. So
Yeah.
one state will have a higher tax, all this kind of stuff. Like in England, isn't just tax the same
It's
as
just
well?
20. I think it's. Oh, I don't know what it is. But
You're thinking about the yearly.
yeah, that's
salary
what we have to
tax.
say. But yeah, with food and I don't know.
It's in the price.
Yeah, it is in the price. Yeah.
But I mean, like in terms of actual taxes that we pay, like yearly, it's just the same for a country, I assume.
Yeah, it's just 20%. I think.
For like different income levels and stuff.
Yeah.
I think it just varies literally state to state, which is also like why it is just like small countries in a big country.
Yeah.
can vary by county, so something could cost a slightly different amount just a mile away. There are also very specific laws about what gets sales taxed. For instance, if you order coffee to go, there will not be sales tax in California, but if you sit down in the cafe and eat a donut, you will have to pay sales tax. Essentially, with all these rules, it becomes difficult to put things on a price tag. Number 3. Not using the metric system. The United States of America has no need for universally accepted and logical measurement systems because Thomas Jefferson said so. In 1790, when the metric system was being developed, he simply decided not to bring it to America. So it didn't happen. America, Liberia, and Myanmar are the only countries in the world that use the imperial system. Liberia uses the same units that America does, and Myanmar is a bit of a mess. They use a combination of their own totally unique Burmese measuring units, American imperial units, and metric units. So
I
they
don't
may
even
have
understand our own system, the metric system. I don't fucking understand.
Is that just like centimeters and?
Centimeters? It's like the distances and like the way we weigh things.
Yeah.
And sort of do distances and all that sort of shit.
Well, as a builder, that's important stuff.
Yeah.
Yeah.
What do you do when you like?
Everything's like tape measures. You're measuring everything.
Yeah.
All the time.
I guess if you get a little 1 centimeter off, you're fucked.
Millimeters. Like
Millimeters, yeah.
millimeters.
What's after millimeters?
Centimeters.
No, like the other, like is there any smaller than millimeters? Nanometers?
I'd use millimeters.
the distinction of being the only country with a bigger headache when it comes to this than America. But surely now that Thomas Jefferson is long dead, we could just switch over, right? Well, it isn't that simple. It would cost a lot of money to switch over the country's whole infrastructure to the metric system now that the US already uses their own unique imperial system. The closest the US has gotten is that today, in US schools, kids learn about both the imperial and metric systems. So most of us do have a basic understanding of how the metric system works, even if we never really use it. Even if you buy a measuring tape in the US, it will have both imperial and metric units on it. Throughout America...
Yeah.
Yeah. They have
So what, they use inches, basically?
A measuring tape in the US, it will have both imperial...
They use feet.
Yeah, but like that's inches.
Yeah. So I guess, yeah. And then obviously this is fucking... What's this then?
Centimeters and millimeters.
Yeah.
Imperial and metric units on it. Throughout American history...
What do we have in our fucking tape measures? We have fucking centimeters.
Both. That is what we use.
We have fucking feet.
There have been various attempts to reform the system and switch over, but none have succeeded. It would seem as though Thomas Jefferson's wish for an extra special system shall live on for the foreseeable future. It hasn't come without its consequences, though, as this confusion has led to enormous mistakes, like the Mars orbiter that was lost by NASA because of a metric system mix-up. Number 2.
Costly mistakes.
Month before the day. The United States is the only country that, when writing out the date, puts the month before the day, and it seems to extremely aggravate the rest of the
smallest to the biggest. Yeah, that's what I thought as well. But
world.
Saying that though, in school I used to just get mixed up all the time, and because you had to put the date on the book all the time.
Yeah.
Put the date on the book. I'd always just do it fucking wrong.
That's cute.
Most other countries write the day, then the month, then the year. The majority of countries and most of Europe and South America do it this way. It seems logical as the units of time are then in order from smallest to largest. Also seemingly logical is how the date is written in China and Japan, which is year, month, day, or largest to
that
smallest.
Makes more sense than the US one, I still think.
Yeah, it's backwards basically.
Yeah, because it's either small to big or big to small. I think.
Yeah.
But what the fuck do I press?
So why do we format time like this? Well, unfortunately, there's no widely accepted answer as to why this is the case. The month-day-year order was used in Britain in the 1800s, but why we chose to keep it when Britain ceased to do so is something of a historical mystery. The best guess is likely that the order reflects how Americans say dates verbally. An American would be more likely to say that it's January 1st more than they would be likely to say the 1st of January. Our notation then could simply be a way of writing out what would be the most conversational. Number 1. Having a drinking age of 21.
No.
A 20-year-old
If I was there, I wouldn't legally be able to drink still.
That'd be peak.
European may be in for a shock when they fly to the US and discover that they can no longer legally drink alcohol. While you may already know about this peculiar American practice, what you may not know is why it is the case. In 1984, the U.S. passed a law called the Drinking Age Act. It stated that if a state did not create a minimum drinking age of 21, they would lose up to 10% of their federal highway funding. The states all took the hint and made the drinking age 21. But why 21? Well, America has a long and storied past with alcohol, including prohibition. Lawmakers didn't just pick the number out of a hat. It dates back centuries to Old English common law, which states a person becomes a full adult aged 21, at which age a person could, among other things, vote and become a knight. Still, as shown by this map, the U.S. is one of just a few developed countries to have a minimum...
I wish it showed what ages
meant.
these were.
Yeah.
So obviously England.
Well, blacks obviously not, I don't think blacks drinking. You're not allowed to drink at all.
Yeah, no drinking.
Muslim
Just like
countries.
What is this? The Middle East and stuff.
Yeah.
Obviously, so England's or Britain's 18. So I guess these are all 18.
Yeah.
Parts of Canada are 18, but parts are different. What the fuck?
Legal drinking age over
places are
18.
really
In
young.
fact,
Yeah,
in some
yeah.
countries like Belgium and Germany, 16-year-olds are allowed to purchase alcohol.
The Germans love that
Alcoholic
bit.
or
Yeah, I
not, if you
know.
order a drink in America, you're probably going to get it with a lot of ice. In most other countries, you just won't see the sheer quantity of ice that you'll get in your American
It's a smart little
beverage.
tactic, isn't it? To use less liquid and just sort of hide it between the fucking
Ice it
ice.
Granted, you'll
Water
often
it
get
down.
ice in your drinks in many European countries, but ice-cold beverages are the default option in America. Whereas lots of people from other countries don't have the same preference, and drinks aren't always served with ice. This cultural difference is frequently debated online. It could be because in some countries you shouldn't drink the tap water, which is where that ice came from, and in others it just isn't common to automatically have ice with a meal at a restaurant. So,
like ice in my
people of the
Yeah, not too much, but it is.
Yeah, just like 4 or 5.
Yeah. I mean, it came in this drink, didn't it? And it's gone now.
Did it?
But yeah. It's just,
Interesting.
especially in the summer.
Mm.
A little bit of ice, mate.
Lovely jubbly.
Lovely jubbly, mate.
Bloody lovely jubbly, mate.
It's easy to travel to different countries when there are 10 within a car drive, which is kind of what you were saying on it. There are only 2 bordering the US and both are hundreds of miles apart. Or could our not wanting to travel have something to do with the fact that the distance we travel to visit another state equals the same distance as many nations travel to visit other countries? I mean, I remember going on holiday to Spain, and we literally just drove the whole way through France to Spain, and that took 25 hours, and that's probably the same distance as going to,
I want to say, how long does it take to drive from one end to America to another? Or even fly?
fly. Fuck knows.
I don't know why I've got 8 hours in my head.
To fly,
Yeah, from one side to another.
let's see. How long does... Let's just say New York to LA, because that's pretty much
Yeah.
the whole length. 5 hours 40.
Alright.
It's less than I thought, to be fair.
That is, yeah.
What about to drive? Probably like 2 days. Oh shit. Fucking. What? 9 days? Fuck me, I was wrong. I mean, to be fair,
You're supposed to sit in the car for that long.
fuck, people do go on like road trips in the
Yeah, I
US
know.
though. It's like a
But
big
there's so
thing,
much
man.
cool stuff to do, isn't there?
Yeah, like you'll go like you'll be in New York. Obviously, there's so much to do in New York. Then you'll stop off like here. There's like the fucking what is it called? Niagara Falls. There's stuff that will just be along here. You go through the mountains here, the desert, all this shit, and then you're in LA.
Yeah.
And then there's LA, you can
You
do
know.
shit there as well. But fucking 9 days. What the fuck, man?
That is some petrol.
Do you like car journeys?
Short ones.
Yeah. But that's the thing though. Like short journeys here are like maybe 30, 40 minutes.
I mean, I've drove up to Scotland,
Yeah.
and that took 12 hours.
12 hours.
Yeah.
Like. Well, I've seen
And
a
that's
few
the longest
comments.
we can do, pretty much.
Yeah, and I've seen a few comments pretty much being like, it'll be like a sort of, a long journey's like 12 hours, but a long journey here is like 12 hours, but that's not,
A
that's
long
like
journey
not
for
really-
us is like 2.5 hours.
Yeah.
Basically. That's
even
a normal
less,
long journey.
even
yeah.
fucking less than that. But there is just sort of the norm to go on a day out and half a day is just spent driving. It's crazy, but hey, it's
That's the life.
yeah. But yeah, hopefully you enjoyed this reaction. If you want more of this stuff, comment it in the comment section. And yeah, until next time, like, subscribe.
Peace.
Peace.